The bottom line is you got to get out there and make the dials. You got to make the calls, because after a while it becomes fun. I mean, I had so much fun with it. First, I messed up. I was nervous and just cotton mouth and all that kind of stuff. I was, I didn't realize what. I just knew that it was a numbers game, and I knew that I had to dig deep and work my way through it and really get the experience to practice over and over. It's like Tiger Woods. Why is he so good? Well, he swings the club 1,000, 2,000 times a day, every single day, and he works on himself. He works on his job, and that's where the key is. That's why you got to make those dials. You got to develop those ratios. You got to know when to call. You just got to understand that. You got to take accountability for it. And I would tell you that when you're prioritizing your leads, you want to be able to have access to a system that's in place with your company or your leadership team, whatever they might be doing, is they set up a phone recording, some kind of a promotional message, if you will. Some people like 5-minute messages, some people like 10, some people use a 15-minute message training call for their team. Make sure that you can have access to that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's a lot of voicemail companies out there. A lot of companies themselves do it, for their distributors or their reps, and understand that. Now, when I qualify my list, what my ultimate goal is, I'm going to talk about the survey in the next course, but what my ultimate goal is to find out when I'm talking to this individual is, number one, are they financially capable? Do they have the income? Do they have the investment to get started on in the right way, to do it the right way? Do they have enough to order the products, services, whatever it might be? Are they ambitious? And I think that some of the probing questions that I ask is, are they hungry? I mean, obviously they've taken the time to answer an ad on the internet. That doesn't take a lot of time, but that's why you've got to develop that, and we're going to talk about that here in a minute. But, find out if they're ambitious. Are they hungry? Do they want it? And I think that that's vitally important to their success. And that's really where, the rubber meets the road again with you, is you've got to have that ambition in your gut to become successful, okay? A lot of people out there, especially with today's economy, with what's happening in the job market out there, what happened last year with the markets and corporate, the corporate world, a lot of people are dissatisfied. They're in a situation where they're dissatisfied. I don't think we've ever seen this in the history of America, this many people that have been downsized, right-sized, capsized, whatever you want to call it. We're in a situation where there's a lot of folks that want to get out there and make more money, and they want to supplement their income in addition to what they're already earning and stuff. So there's some dissatisfied people out there. Maybe some people have lost their jobs and they can't live in the country club community anymore. Maybe there's some folks out there that can't afford to, they're a couple months behind on their car payment. Well, this industry enables us to be able to overcome that and to get our life back. And that's why I'm so passionate about this. And, I'm fortunate because I had my father as my mentor, Mike, and I've heard you say that a bunch of times talking about that. We're very fortunate to have my parents. They're in the industry. I've always seen that. He taught me that time without money is no good and money without time is no good. And the bottom line is that this industry offers us the best of both worlds. And this is really the way to do that, is to get on the phone, get to know people, work the leads. Don't expect the internet to do it for you. Don't expect anybody to do it for you. Those are tools. Those are mediums. You're the one that's going to build that. You're the one that's going to create that. There's a lot of people that you're looking for out there. If you find the people that have a great self-image, the people that are confident, they tend to be attractive people, as you say, Mike. Those are individuals that are centers of influence. Who do you know that fits that bill? I also talk to you, how many people do you know out there that have been involved in other companies? I would encourage you to talk to those individuals. Some people say, oh man, they've been through every company. Oh, what deal are you in this week? What deal are you in today? The bottom line is that individual's looking, and your company, your product, your service might be the one that turns that individual and changes your zip code, okay? That might be the one that becomes your leader. So don't overestimate, don't prejudge that as well. I also look for people that are computer savvy to some degree, and I would encourage you to get somewhat, savvy on that, to develop the skills. I'm not talking about becoming a Bill Gates. What I'm talking about is understanding what email is all about. I'm talking about being able to send them, read them, and respond to them, and be able to access that, because a lot of our industry really focuses on today. We have got great websites and great tools to utilize that and to really leverage where we are today. And I would just tell you that if you're afraid of it, don't be, because there's a lot of this stuff is so user friendly. All you want to do, if you know how to read, that you can really navigate your way through that. So So, when you prioritize your leads, one of the main things you got to do is just be accountable for it. Record the times that you need to be calling. Understand those are just 2 times. We've got 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I'll tell you to go for it. I will tell you to go for it and keep it simple. Evenings are always, seem to be more, to me, they seem to be more beneficial. Sometimes in the mornings are okay. You got your stay-at-home moms that are looking for something else. So really track that and develop that ratio, as we said earlier, and just kind of qualify and prioritize your leads and find out, that you're looking for the good quality people. So I'll turn it back over to you, Mike.
Yeah, and in closing up this portion of our training, folks, I want to leave you with 2 simple messages. One, and Mike and I have talked about this extensively, we're getting ready to talk about making the calls, leaving messages, how to follow a system. But here's something I want you to write down and commit to. Immediately respond. I call it immediate response techniques, but it's a real simple technique, folks. You must contact your prospects as soon as possible. You get an email, if you have the ability to pick up the phone and call or start firing out emails or your autoresponders working, immediate response. It's very important. And the last message I want to leave you with, when we talk about ratios and when to call and being accountable, just remember this, especially for you folks that may be brand new to the industry. Write this down. What you lack in skill, you make up for in numbers. And that is a major, major stepping stone. What you lack in skill, you make up for in numbers. So if you need to buy more leads, if you need to work a little bit harder your first 6 to 12 months, if you need to spend more money your first 6 to 12 months. I mean, I did that. I know Michael did. I know many people that I've worked with in the industry, I've talked to, I've interviewed. You know what? It's all the same. But just remember that profound statement. It's a philosophy to live by, and eventually you're going to get better and better developing that ratio. And before you know it, Mike, we know what happens. You just have fun.
Well, it's funny is that what you're saying is that's activity knowledge. That's activity knowledge. It's not what people say knowledge is power. No, it's not. Activity knowledge is taking action upon the knowledge that you have is power. I mean, that's really what it's all about. It's about getting out there. There's a lot of educated derelicts out there. There's a lot of folks out there that know a lot of things, but they haven't gotten anywhere in life because they haven't taken action upon that. And then you take people like us from different backgrounds. We don't have the formalized, quote unquote, college education. Not a problem, because we take action. We're doers, and that's what I encourage everybody on this call to do. Or listening to this tape series is to just get out there and do it. That's what activity knowledge is all about. So what we'd like to do now is just go ahead and segue into how to make the call. So we'll take a quick break, and we're going to have some fun with that.